Hello, this is Jeff Ramundo from the Tuesday, Thursday cohort for the U of A Coding Bootcamp, and just want to do a quick demonstration of this week's homework assignment, the Liri Node application, just to give proof that have all of the components and that it's fully functioning when working application. So just try to get through this really quickly, just to show that I have all of the files that were preloaded to make the application work, all the different modules, and got the node modules with literally hundreds of files in it. Some of the more important things, the package.json showing the all the different dependencies that were loaded, and all the modules that were loaded to make the application work. Downloaded Axios, used that in two of my API calls, both for OMDB and for bands in town. The .env to make the get ignore functionality. Moment for node moment, which I used a couple times for time formats in the application. Notify or Node Spotify API and request, which I actually didn't end up using, but I did download it anyway because I could have possibly used that for bands in town as well. Have the random text file for the last function of the application, the one that calls not from an API but from a random file. The command and search parameter to make the app work in Spotify. Also, the log text, which I currently have as a empty file. API keys for Spotify or get ignore, and then the JS code itself. Just started with all variables. First time I had the opportunity to use a switch case statement, which is pretty cool to call it the functions and then define each function after that, and to code them to work as I go for each piece of the application. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that I do have a working app. So I'm just going to use the terminal in here. So rather than using git bash, just I think it'll be a little easier to see in the video. So the first one I have, this is the movie app from OMDB, which is the movie this application. And so I'm going to put the movie this, and I'm going to use Top Gun. And so as you can see, both in the console and in the log, it does come up with all the information that was required to be pulled from the API. As well as I added a couple other things into the log, which was the time of the log. This is one of the places I used the node moment, as well as what the actual command, the search command, and search parameter was for the movie, and then it just did a little cleanup, so it also looks a little better than just spitting out random data. And the second one is the Spotify this. So I'm going to use Iron Man Creeping Death. And again, I did limit the number of returns for any of the ones that I used for loops for to parse through the data, just because it was getting a little obnoxious how many returns it was getting. So I did limit it for each one of the different applications. And then the next one is the concert this. And I'm going to use Iron Maiden. And I just spelled concert wrong. And again, always want to do a new search. Also, always indicated at the before the first one what type of log entry it is. So this was a concert log entry. And then actually, before I go on to the last one, just to show that for the Spotify this, that I did include the requirement for if a search parameter wasn't selected or if it was undefined. And it should, yep, and it does, goes to Ace of Base, the sign, and some other similar renditions of the song as well. And then lastly, the last function is the one that pulls from the random text file and uses the parameters to do an API call for Spotify. And the function was the I think it was a do what it says. I'm just going to leave no search parameter, and just like in the random function where I want it that way, we get returned for I want it that way, starting with the first one from the Backstreet Boys. So that should do it. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out, and had a thought this was challenging, but great assignment. Had a lot of fun, and that will do it. Thanks a lot. Bye.